Hello gamers, this is Sai and welcome back to Which Way Games. Now what's the best way to win a fight?
Thunder! 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 Thundercats! Ho!
Thundercats are on the move. Thundercats are loose. Feel the magic, hear the roar. Thundercats are loose. Thunder, 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 Thundercats. Thunder, 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 Thundercats.
Now before we begin, you guys at home know that I returned back from the Mansion of Horror last week to find the cartoon guy inside the game's room. And after pleading with me for his own video, I gave in, so I'm going to leave you in the capable hands of the cartoon guy. Perfect. Right. For weeks I've always wanted my own video, and thanks to Sai, I finally get the chance to talk about the greatest cartoon ever made, and that would be Thundercats. So let's go back to where it all started.
Cartoons have always been a form of entertainment, with the first being phantasmagory all the way back in 1908, and from there, more and more cartoons would soon emerge, wowing viewers who loved tales of fantasy and make-believe.
For some out there, including Sai, the golden age of cartoons was in the 80s, producing some amazing cartoons.
Such classic cartoons of this era was Ulysses 31 and Transformers, which are well remembered with older viewers, who at the time seemed to be spoilt with the ever-increasing catalogue of great cartoons.
But there's one cartoon that's fondly remembered by many for its great story and its fantastic animation, as well as the best theme tune for any cartoon, and that would be Thundercats.
Now Thundercats was created by Ted Wolfe, who had an idea to create a cartoon of superhumans with animal characteristics, and looking at the world of big cats was a perfect playing field for his vision.
And of course, tales from Marvel and DC will be part of this inspiration, and from this, Thundercats was born.
The vision of the cartoon was that of an action-orientated story, but filled with some comedy segments along the way. And so Thundercats was destined to become a worldwide sensation, which of course made sense, considering at the time, cartoons were evolving into a more complex form of storytelling.
For example, there was exciting storylines, as well as character development.
It seemed that viewers knew something big was coming to the small screen, especially with plenty of hype surrounding the release of the Thundercats. And as if by magic, the Heroes of Thundercats finally aired in 1985, proving to be a whole new breed of cartoon.
With a great intro that could easily fit within the world of anime and that fantastic theme tune, viewers were excited by the possibilities that this series could bring.
The story of Thundercats has our heroes the Thunderians leaving the dying planet of Thundera, while being pursued by the mutants of plunn-darr, who desire the Eye of Thundera. But during the escape, most of the starships of the Thunder Fleet are destroyed, and one ship is boarded, but luckily, the power of the Eye saves the ship that has the last remaining Thundercats on board, including the young lord known as Lion-O.
From this point, all but one of the Thundercats went into suspended animation, leaving Jaga alone to pilot the starship to Third Earth.
And so after a long and lonesome journey, Third Earth is in sight, but sadly Jaga dies of old age, but manages to set a course for the new home of the Thundercats before his demise. With Jaga gone, the starship crash lands on Third Earth, with all the remaining Thundercats surviving, and eventually Lion-O would wake up from a suspended sleep. The other Thundercats would soon be awakened to help Lion-O in a battle, and from there Tigra, Tara, Panthro, Wily Kit and Wily Cat taking their surroundings, as well as the antics of Snarf.
Don't mind me, cartoon guy, just need to borrow this gun. Wait, why? No time to talk, I've got a red ball of fluffiness I need to hunt. Come here!
With Third Earth being their new home, the Thundercats rename it New Thundera, and then build their new base of operations. However, the mutants of plunn-darr have also reached New Thundera, but find themselves near a black pyramid that houses the very embodiment of evil.
This of course was Mumm-ra, who had dark supernatural abilities and was the main antagonist for the Thundercats.
The first few episodes follow a continuity, setting up a future storyline and allow viewers to get to know the Thundercats. Each of them would have their own quirks, ranging from the powerful Panthro and his intelligence, going all the way to Chitara with her speed and feminine charms.
For some, Chitara is a bit of a sex symbol, not just for her looks, but also for a strong personality. Cartoon guy, you do know that Chitara is essentially a cat? Yeah, I know. And that doesn't seem odd to you. Haven't you got a snarf to catch? There he is.
Even Jarga would return from beyond, giving advice to Lion-O, as well as listening to the young lord when he needed him the most.
And those gentle creatures have as much right to the life force as you do, Lion-O.
Essentially, Lion-O was still a child, and this allowed viewers to follow his journey as the Lord of the Thundercats and the trials he would overcome.
Now, Thundercats was different compared to other cartoons, as it included morals for younger viewers, very much like He-Man Master of the Universe, which hopefully I'll come back to in the future.
Each episode would see the Thundercats dealing with the troublesome mutants of plunn-darr. Lion-O usually would have to deal with some of these enemies by himself, and most of the time would be able to go toe-to-toe with them. However, when teamwork was needed, Lion-O would use the power of the Sword of Omens.
Lion-O would call upon the other Thundercats to aid him in battle, and the Sword of Omens also gave him the gift of sight beyond sight.
Sword of Omens, give me sight beyond sight.
Now, I've looked to see if Sai has a Sword of Omens in the games room, but all I could find was the Master Sword. I'm pretty sure the Hero of Time is going to need it.
The Thundercats became a hit with viewers, with plenty of merchandise being made about the heroes of Thundera. Things such as comics, clothing, and of course plenty of toys to wow fans of the show.
Now, most fans love these Thundercat toys, but to own the cat's lair was the stuff of dreams. Bit of a rarity these days, but fun nonetheless.
And as the Thundercats became even more popular, some other forms of entertainment were made, such as video games. But the cartoon was far bigger than all this combined, and so eventually a feature film was made.
This was Thundercats Ho, which technically was beginning of season 2, which started with Lion-O having troubled dreams about the destruction of Thundera.
Feeling guilty of other Thunderians perishing, Jarga informs Lion-O that other survivors had made the trip to Third Earth, but were unaware that their lord was on the planet, and so he must seek out the survivors, including 3 in particular.
New characters Linkso, Bengali and Mumm-ra would eventually become Thundercats and aid the others in the battle against mumm-ra.
Now, despite going down in history as one of the best cartoons of the 80s, Thundercats would also share the small screen with other great cartoons, such as Silverhawks and Tiger Sharks, both of which bear similarities with the Thundercats, are enjoyable to watch, and have their own legion of fans.
Thundercats would come to an end, entering the world of reruns into the early 90s, but it wouldn't be until 2011 when the series got a reboot.
Very much like the original, Thundercats 2011 was set on Third Earth, with the kingdom of Thundera thriving for generations since the originals defeated mumm-ra. However, an evil lizard army would cause the kingdom to be destroyed, thanks to the return of mumm-ra, the ancient spirit of evil.
With a new look for the Thundercats and a slight continuation of the original story, Thundercats 2011 only ran for 1 season before being cancelled.
But luckily the Thundercats would get yet another reboot, with Thundercats Raw, which loosely followed the original but at a more comedic scale.
A highly amusing version of Thundercats that does remind me slightly of Adventure Time.
Overall, the Thundercats cartoon is enjoyable to watch and is a testament of the 80s, where the possibilities of fantasy and great storytelling was endless. Each episode had a moral to teach younger viewers, but also provided plenty of action along the way. And when combined with a great musical score, Thundercats has gone down in history as one of the greatest cartoons of all time, alongside a few others. Either way, Thundercats is a fantastic cartoon for newcomers, as well as viewers who wish to relive the nostalgia of being a kid again.
So, cartoon guy, how did it go? Yeah, it was fantastic to talk about Thundercats. Did you manage to catch Snarf? No, the little furball got away, but I'm glad you had fun. I really did. Maybe I could do this again in the future. Well, if this video does well, then maybe you will. I hope so. See you, Si. Yeah, see you, cartoon guy. Anyway, come back next time where I take a look at the wonderful world of handheld gaming and some of the fantastic games exclusive to these small boxes of fun. Thank you so much for watching and see you next game.